just concluded a meeting with the leadership of SANEF. They were meeting with the presidency today. This meeting was agreed some days ago, particularly when Parliament was going to be meeting in a joint session. Also because of the things that happened then, there was a need to meet and talk about these matters. But as you know, some of those matters were clarified by ministers. But we still thought it was important to meet, just to make sure that such things do not happen again. You will also appreciate that in my response in Parliament, I condemn particularly the jamming of the signal because it was wrong, it's not correct, and it must never happen again. As I said, I repeated that statement to the colleagues we met with of SANEF to say that is a standpoint. And of course, there is a statement that was made by the security cluster. But rest assured, that will never happen again, and we did not know about it, and we are condemning it. It was uncalled for. And of course, we have discussed also the relationship between government and SANEF in particular, and the media in general. We have agreed on a number of issues that we should better the relationship. We should be able to communicate as often as possible between the two. We are all patriots of the country, we want to promote the country. We also took advantage of our meeting to discuss the programs and the agendas of the continent, taking into consideration that some of our colleagues from SANEF are participating in the forum of editors in the continent, and they are very much working closely with the AU, and we had a lot of discussions on those matters, very useful discussions. So the meeting has been very good, very cordial, very frank, very friendly. It has been everything that you can think of, and we are very happy after this meeting. So I'll give the chairperson of SANEF the opportunity to reflect on this.
Thank you. Friends, we had, as the President says, a very successful meeting. We expressed our frustration at what happened in Parliament, and the President agreed with us that indeed it shouldn't have happened, and on behalf of government is regretting what happened. We also informed him something which he says he was not aware of, that there were attempts to try and talk to government departments and government officials before the joint sitting to alert them that there was a problem with the signal, and our approach didn't get positive feedback. He was not aware of that, and he made it very clear that that should be criticized as well. Government should be able to respond when concerns are being raised, and that we agreed that things should always be resolved the South African way through negotiations and conversations, and that doesn't necessarily mean that we'll agree all the time. There are many things that we'll disagree on, but that's part of the South Africa we're trying to build. And that SANEF is committed to continue to engage with government, and that we welcome the President's commitment to have more of these kinds of forums. We don't only have to meet and discuss when there's a problem. We have to talk even when there are no problems, just to have an understanding of how government is progressing in its policies and other things that it is doing. We also, as he says, discussed the issue of SANEF's participation in the Africa's Editors Forum. Some of you may know that Jovial Rantau, a member of SANEF, is now the chairman of the African Editors Forum. He was elected just about 3 weeks ago. And we will be hosting in the next year or so the biannual general meeting of TAIF here in South Africa. And we asked the government to also participate in that, because there's a lot of continental issues that get discussed there. So, but that was just taking advantage of the meeting that was already taking place. It was not meant to discuss that. But in terms of the signal issues, we are happy with the discussions. And we also briefed the President about the problems we're encountering in Parliament in trying to get a full broadcast feed that doesn't hide anything that's happening in Parliament. We appraised him about that. We also informed him that we will be meeting with the presiding officers of Parliament. Of course, due to the separation of powers issue, some of the things can only be dealt with by the Speaker of the National Assembly and the chairperson of the National Council of Provinces. So we will be taking up the matters there. So we hope that overall this has been a learning curve for both on the side of government and us, that we need to listen to each other before things boil into a crisis. There was no need for the President's State of the Nation address to be disturbed for the first time in history just because cell phone signals could not work. It's an issue we could have addressed early, but as he correctly points out, it's regrettable and it wouldn't happen again. And we take his word for that, and both sides have agreed to be vigilant in future.
We also agree that there must be something said more about the behavior in Parliament from the media. Really, to say Parliament is an apex of democracy, and it has a specific decorum and dignity, and that must not be undermined. And that, therefore, there must be more of writing about that, helping members of Parliament to appreciate that we have got to behave in a particular way in Parliament on behalf of the people who voted us. I just thought that point is absolutely important for you who collect news.